Okay. Let's try to say this very, very slowly so I can pronounce it correctly. Scan Odanik Sni Ogwego. Ogwego. Skin Odanik Sni Ogwego. It'd be skin, hello, Odanik Sa, which is relatives, Ni. Ni would be my, and Ogwego is all of. So anyway, I've been kind of studying my my dictionary that I have of Iroquois. I have the Cayuga variation. Generally, there were originally a great deal of Iroquois languages. They kind of spread out, conquering a very large swathe of territory as an empire, and then fractured into tribal groups that seemingly reconstituted themselves into different confederacies and nations. Personally, I live in what was originally the territory of an Iroquois group called the Erie, which is where Lake Erie gets its name, who no longer exist. But this is the language of one of the only still remaining Iroquois groups. Like half of them are gone off the face of the earth. We know that there was the Chononton, Erie, and the St. Lawrence Iroquois, which we don't even know what they actually called themselves. Those three are gone. Who still exist are the Huron or Wyandot, the Iroquois, and the Susquehanna. Also, the another nation, the Wenro, are also gone. But they have really gone through a great deal of trouble trying to preserve their language. There's not very many speakers of it left, and it is kind of a difficult language to speak. The rules are not that simple, but they are very strange for a language, very unique, but I think I have enough of this down. I'm going to go ahead and do an alphabet video and a common phrases video, which I think I feel confident enough that I can go ahead and do. And as time goes on, we'll see where this goes. Now, this is in the interest of saving Native American language. It's part of the heritage of this country and this continent. And even though there are a lot of people, both on reservations and just in mixed into the rest of the population, who have Native American ancestry and are aware of that, not very many people still speak the languages, even though there are many resources, and those resources are growing for people to try to learn these languages if they would really put in the time. But given that there's not very many people who can actually teach you pronunciation and teach you how to organize the language into a sentence, just learning random words doesn't really help out too much. So I want to kind of try to put up these videos to hopefully inspire other people to get involved in this, in rescuing native language and native culture, and really take it upon themselves to bring this back into the heritage of their country and their families. But anyway, as far as I've been able to tell, I cannot find a word for alphabet or even a word for letters in this language. I've tried very hard. Sometimes the language gets a little bit metaphorical, and maybe that might be the problem, where someone who actually spoke the language might be able to see this as a lot more kind of on the nose than I would. but at this time I don't know what those are. I do believe I know what the name of the language is. Okay, the name of the language Nidwawenode, which kind of means our language. I've seen a few languages that do kind of in Native American languages they do often just call their language our language. So that is pretty simple. But this is basically just going to be starting at a very simple stage of teaching you the alphabet, how to say the letters. I'll do a common phrases video after this, teaching you some simple phrases in the language, and we'll start working on actually learning how to speak the language itself when I feel that I'm up to that level. But anyway, we'll go ahead and try and show you the alphabet here. Okay, so here's your basic alphabet, 20 letters, and I'm just putting this native word that's up here under Iroquois alphabet, Haudenosaunee. That's not the name for the alphabet. That's the correct name for the Iroquois Confederacy. They call themselves the Haudenosaunee. But I'll go ahead and kind of explain the basic function, how these letters sound, and some simple explanations for some of this stuff here, so you'll understand. Now, the first letter is the glottal stop, represented by the apostrophe. This is kind of a German created concept that's kind of represented by this symbol in pronunciation guides. It's never actually written in the language. But this idea of the glottal stop is extremely important to Native American languages, probably even more important to this language in particular. It's probably used the most out of any of the native languages that I've seen. But a glottal stop is a sudden pause in the middle of a word, kind of like the space in the word in the expression is how it's always expressed. You're not necessarily stopping the word, but you are kind of separating the word into two pieces, but you are kind of putting a definite stop in there. But what's even more awkward with this language is that if that glottal stop comes after a vowel, it cuts off the sound of that vowel, and it's barely pronounced. So watch out for that. And you have the letter A, which sounds like the A in father, ah. And then you have this A with this little hook thing under it. Now, in this language, in a lot of Native American languages, they have these ideas of what they call nasalized vowels. And you do kind of have to try and say them right, otherwise you can completely alter, especially in this language in particular, you can completely alter what you're saying altogether if you don't pronounce the vowels correctly. So you always have to watch out for that. But the nasal A kind of sounds like the first E in the French word enchanté. En. D as in dog. E, as in elephant. And you have nasal E. They kind of express this in the dictionary in a way that really only makes sense if you have a Native American accent. But it kind of sounds very similar to a long A, like the AI sound in aim. So regular E is nasal E is eh. G kind of makes a soft G sound, as in the G at the end of dog. H as in hello. I makes a sound like the E in evil. Now, occasionally J does actually sound like a J, but more often it makes this DZ sound. If you've played the game Assassin's Creed 3, you will have remembered that there was a character named something along the lines of judizio. That's kind of that was literally spelled J-I-O. So that's how you kind of differentiate that. But it occasionally does kind of soften to an actual J sound. K is in kill, N as in never, O as in old. Then you have your nasal O, which I can't really come up with any other language other than a Native American language that really has a sound kind of similar to this that I know of. But nasal O kind of makes a sound like you got kicked in the gut, but just without the emphasis of pain. R as in raid, S as in same, T as in two, U as in soon, W as in wait, and in this language you always want to really hit your W's very hard. And Y as in yellow. Now, unfortunately, we're not done because there are a few other concepts that I really need to get you going on. Now, you might have noticed in this word, scan, that there is that weird colon in the middle of the word. What that does is that is what we call a lengthener, and that stretches that only goes on vowels. And what it does is it just stretches the sound of the vowel to make it double sounded. Usually if that gets hit with a glottal stop, that is supposed to kind of technically be considered a 1.5 sounded vowel, but it's okay to just worry about like just pronouncing it as if it's just a single vowel, even though it's a double vowel. And then the other thing you'll have noticed is in this word, this vowel is underlined, and essentially, I don't know why they chose to make the language like this, but every time you see an underlined vowel, you're kind of supposed to gloss over the sound, kind of more or less try to shift organically between the sounds of the two consonants on either side. Usually one of them's an H, so it's pretty easy to do. That's why I pronounce this Odenics instead of Odenox. And even more annoyingly, these three letters, if they come before a silent vowel, you can often have a D turn into a T, a G turn into a K, or a J turn into a Ch. And there is this idea of, in this language anyway, of what we call diaphthongs, which is where when two letters come together, the sound kind of changes. There's really only two that you have to worry about that much, and pretty much if an R or a Y comes after an S, that S changes from a S sound to a sh sound. I don't know. And if you have HW together like that, it turns into kind of a very hard, almost a blowing noise. So that's really all you need to worry about there. So that's pretty much all we got for that. So if you're really interested in continuing, check out the Common Phrases 1 video that's going to be coming up next. In the meantime, Nyawe atod o is son. Nyawe is thank you. Atod o is, you all listened, and Tsal is a common, it's common to, in Native American languages, to end a conversation with a nicety that usually kind of corresponds to the phrase, that's it. In Iroquois, it's not the only one, Saul, but that was the shortest one, so Saul. Nyawe atota o is Saul.